just lost 3 minutes of time that you had, right? Your runway gets short so quickly. And there's just so much chaotic stuff to look out for. I mean, you saw the interesting thing is, like, compared to normal, once you get into Heroic and Mythic, when you go through that phase where the balls spawn, the halos that spawn, the fire explosions, right here, there isn't just one of them, right? They're staggered, whereas in normal, it's just a single circle moving inward, right? The one ring. Now you have to deal with 2, so it becomes a lot more cumbersome to manage, I think especially for melee classes.
Yeah. How come they are not using Rested Woods? It's actually funny that many people ask, like, why specific specs or classes are not in. I don't think it matters a lot in splits right now, because it's just a lot of helpers as well, and helpers can play whatever they want. But I think generally, when it comes to Rested Druids, or like specs that you want to play, it's all about what has the biggest value and what can cover the buffs that you need to have in the raid, and less about what has like good output. Only Rested Druid is viable. I always say when someone asks me, I don't know if that's a thing in other games like Age of Empires, people ask, is this or that or this spec viable? I think yes, it is viable. Like, you can play everything and you can make it work. It's just harder to make it work if it's worse, but you can make it work.
Yeah, the bigger lesson that usually goes in there is a lot of people are casual, right? So it's like, do you need to sweat min-max? A lot of the content, not necessarily. Definitely with like in Mythic here, but in a lot of cases, maybe it doesn't apply to you that you need to be 1% higher on your output than what maybe this class that you have a lot more fun playing would do, right?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. I always say, like, begin with what you like playing. I also have the problem that I'm a bit of a hipster. Like, I don't want to follow the meta. I want to find the meta. You know what I mean? That's so much more rewarding.
Druids are overall evil people and bring bad luck to the raid. Balrog. You take that back. You leave right now. Think about what you just said. Think about something nice to say, and then you come back.
I mean, like, you know, I have negative experiences with druids, so it's kind of...
What?
Well, because the hardcore classic thing I done where it was all druids.
Okay, you know what? Not only you started bullying me for world rank 7 player, but also now you're starting to bully druids. I'm actually a main druid. You didn't know that, so you just started.
Hunter for life.
Well, hunters. Talking about hunters, I don't think we've mentioned it yet. Hunters got nerfed tonight.
Oh, really?
Yes, they have been dealing ridiculous amounts of damage.
So they had 1 day of relevance.
Yes. I don't think it's that bad, but like I said yesterday, I went through logs, Warcraft logs, the first thing I do after a successful day of raiding. And on every single boss, you can see like leaderboards of like top damage logs. And on every single heroic boss, the top 100 was just Beastmaster Hunters.
If we switch to Karilla's perspective, we can see how they're faring.
Is she playing Hunter right now?
She was playing Hunter yesterday. I don't know if she switched to Evoker, because Evoker got nerfed pre-raid drop, right? So like it was already kind of looking a bit worrisome to spam Evoker.
Oh, she is Evoker.
Okay.
But apparently there was like some sort of bug with Hunters, or like the Hunter pets. They did deal 25% more damage or something.
That's not a bug, that's a feature.
Kind of, but basically I'm not exactly sure if it was a bug in the end or if it was just overtuned. The damage from kill command, which is like your top pet damage ability, so top damage in the end, got nerfed by 25%.
Oh.
That's a quite big nerf, but then also hunters were so far ahead that I don't think they're just out of the meta now. They're still pumping numbers.
Well, we don't have any hunters posting the top DPS right now, right? Like, no, so, I mean, you say maybe they're not done.
Maybe. The funny part was that Speed was complaining about, hunters, they deserved it, they were so broken. The next best thing is Asa Rogue, and that's exactly what Speed plays.
Oh, look at that. So just want the #1 spot.
Yeah, you're complaining about hunters, and you're like not so far off. But yeah, it's honestly nice to see that there's actions taken kinda quickly, because that shows that Blizzard is interested in, like, you know, keeping it the way it's supposed to be. I think it has happened like years ago a lot that things were like broken or bugged or not working as intended, and it was just left there. And I was
Gotcha.
like, before we start into the actual race, we just nerfed the hunter pet damage to bring it in line with others.
This just
So
makes me sad. I mean, apparently Hunter hasn't really been relevant for quite some time. So this was the one moment to shine. They literally got a day. Thanks, Blizzard.
they're still gonna be good, I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to see. I'm hoping. I'd love to see it. By
Yeah.
the way, why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
How much is 12 inches? I need centimeters, you know.
30
30?
is a fate. So yeah, why? But it's relevant. Like why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
Because then I couldn't see anything anymore.
No, because then it would be a foot. That wasn't even my joke. I stole it from Bondor. Thank you for the donation, buddy.
And I didn't see it.
You were just thrown off by the inches, like.
Oh wait, and then
Huh?
I kind of ruined the joke by making you tell me centimeters. It's not
I was
funny
like,
if it's
I don't
centimeters
know.
anymore.
I don't know the bloody like. I don't know the conversions. My country weighs things by stone. You know how we decided that? We were like, this stone looks like the right size. That'll be a stone. Yep.
50 euros. Thank you so much
Hell
for
yeah.
that.
Did you know that my my grandfather has the heart of a lion?
Is that another stupid joke?
No, he has the heart of a lion. Like, you know, it's a figure of speech. Like that. He also has a lifetime ban from the zoo.
I can't. Is there a possibility that mods are banning people on the couch as well, or do you only have power in chat?
No, because like what I'll just do is I'll double up mics. They
Gonna
cannot
hide
stop
in a
me.
corner with a microphone. You can't find me, but you can hear me.
Just put the green suit on. They'll never be.
Yeah.
They have to spot me if they want to ban me.
Okay, you know what I want to see, and maybe I can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch POVs,
Okay.
healer POV.
Ooh.
Let's see, who do we have? That one's not working.
I mean, why would we want to watch them? They're not doing damage, you know.
Well, but this is like, you know, on this boss yesterday we've seen like 8 healers in some of the splits. 'Cause
Really?
I think even we played with 30 people and we had 7 healers. This boss is all about don't mess up the mechanics and like bait the puddles on the floor bed and don't die. And there's like a very heavy healing absorb. So just like being able to out heal it is a really good thing. So I wanted to see, but
I guess it's also important in this phase
They're
in
not live.
in particular, if we can get it up on screen, where like when you're in the ring phase, the big focus has been 20% more damage, but actually it's not just damage. Your healing gets buffed by 20% as well. So
Yeah.
like I guess you could see this as a top-off phase where I wouldn't be surprised if often, especially when we get to Mythic, when people hop into that phase, all those health bars are going to look pretty bloody low. All of a sudden, that'll be the rejuvenation period.
you know, this boss is gonna be so interesting on Mythic.
I mean, the good news is they seem to be getting it pretty low here. I don't want to jinx it because I think they are. Is that 5 people dead? 6 already? Maybe that's 7.
It's
feel like a
it's
bit
more
of-
than that, I think. Or
That's 7.
do we? I don't.
Going
1,
once.
2, 3,
Going twice.
8. It's 8.
It's 8. Did another one. Sold!
It's 7. It is.
There's a lot more than 7 now. Jesus.
This looks scary. This is a wipe.
I've got a new bid. We're now at 14 dead. And going once. Going. There's no way. 12% less left. I don't know if they're going to be able to clear that.
Let's see. Oh, they're in the same group. Well, I have a feeling we're gonna be wiping here for a while again.
I mean, Ciello's not even, like, is he dead? Yeah, he's dead, yeah.
He's dead.
Well,
He
we
is.
might be stuck on this
Oh,
one
but
for a bit longer.
You know what we see here, looking at the details?
Mhm.
This green. Hunters.
Ooh, good. It just,
Ooh.
imagine if the reason we saw that is because everyone else died and there was just a hunter left.
Nah,
Well,
it's
we've
hunters
done
that
it.
are broken.
Whoa,
Whoa, whoa.
You're
whoa.
right. They're broken, as in Blizzard broke us. We were totally functioning well. Our class was reasonable. It made perfect sense. And then Blizzard broke our pets.
Yeah.
You know what they've done? They John Wicked us. They walked in and killed our dog.
They John Wicked. Is that a thing people say, or did you just make that up?
Most things I say I make up.
You're very confident in the way you're saying them.
That's the key. It's not about being right. It's about convincing other people you are.
They John Wicked our pets.
Dude, I mean, it's true. The puppy.
That was a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Talking about puppies, I feel like we haven't talked about... Okay, that didn't make sense, but you know what I mean. We haven't talked about Nyfter a lot. Nyfter is kind of a puppy when it comes to race to world first rating. He's the first time in the venue.
Go full screen. He's probably adorable. That's why you thought he was a puppy. There you go. So if you go... Yeah, cams.
I got this.
It's perfect. Look at that adorable puppy.
Yeah. I think he's more one of the silent raiders, you know. Some of them are like, you hear them through the whole venue, like Jimmy Fragnance or Lorgark usually as well. Wildy is one of those. And then you have Nyfter. He's just like there, he's the silent guy, but I think his performance is like absolutely crazy, and that's obviously the reason why we have him.
The interesting thing about those types is like when you do hear them, everyone processes what they say because it's so rare that they say something, right? As long as they're loud when they say it, it's like, oh Jesus, the silent monk just broke his vow. There must be something important going on.
That counts for everyone except healers. Even if a silent healer says something, it's like no one listens to it.
You're not contributing damage. Keep me alive.
One heal, please.
Not even a thanks. That really is the pain of the heal life. That's why I can't be bothered with it. I'm sorry. I respect your pain, but then ignore it. Just keep hitting the DPS.
Oh, are we wiping already?
Dude, that it looks pretty convincing.
I was about to say that the baits here looked really good because you want to save some space, which you need later on the boss fight, and then they just die.
I think the... I'm wondering if we reach a phase where I don't want to blame the helpers, but like something has to change.
He's
so maybe
blaming the helpers.
Maybe there's some other helper, or maybe you're like, okay, do we have to change specs a little? Is there like, how deep would you be into pools where you'd be like, do we need to respec here?
I don't think, especially now that we have some experience from yesterday's splits, I don't think it would take you many pulls to make decisions of we need to respec or we need to swap out something. But we're just very limited in what we can do. The raiders obviously have to stay on the character they're on because every single character is planned into specific splits. So it cannot just be like, let me just lock on my other character that has 10 item level more, I'm gonna carry this. No, you need that split, that boss on that specific character. And also with the helpers, it's like you cannot just swap out helpers, right? Because there's like not a lot of options. You just need to...
And like I just became kind of stuck with you.
kind of. I mean, you just... And even if you have someone to replace someone else, this is a new raid, right? And this is really a hard boss.
Yes.
Like, if you want to help out, don't be afraid because we're just some stupid casters kind of being like, oh, the helpers. It's a hard boss. It's a new raid. No one is expecting others, and I don't even think that the raiders are playing flawless here.
No,
right? Everyone's making mistakes, and it's just a boss. A single mistake can be so punishing that it causes a wipe, especially when you die in the intermission, for example.
Another way to think of it as well is like, even if you thought that someone else might be able to chip in better, like keep in mind you're now wiping the progress you've made, getting these helpers on board with the way you work as a team. So now you're going to have to like teach someone new entirely, right? So like you probably aren't going to be better off for that. I always remember examples where, I'm gonna point fingers at them. Evil Geniuses has a habit of buying like the best players in any esport they enter, and then they lose everything. It's a talent, really. And it's kind of proof to my point in that, like, just because you think this person's going to be the best doesn't mean they naturally fit with what you do.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, you perform worse. Shout out to EG.
But Isn't that like a general thing when it comes to sports? Like I'm very interested in football, and I've seen it many times. Just looking at the German Bundesliga, we have Bayern München. It's like the one club where all the non-fans say you just buy all the best players to make the other teams weak, and you just do that because you have all the money. Might be true, but point being is that very often there's like talented young players that are playing amazing in their clubs.
Yep.
And then obviously for them getting an offer from Bayern München in that case, is like that was my dream all along. Of course I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then they're just sitting on the bench there because all of a sudden they don't perform as well anymore as they did in their previous club where they started like shining, and it's like, oh, there's like a lot of potential, and then they just go back, and then it's like kind of, you know. So I don't think it's only still shout out, but
Oh no, that
It's
was
a
me
very
making a
common
dig
thing.
at them. That wasn't me being nice to them. But no, you're right. It's one of those cases, you know, changes are needed occasionally, but the reality is just because someone shows you, oh look, I have the biggest DPS average of anyone
Yeah.
that's helping. It's like, yes, but how did you get that? And how do you function with us? It's something that we see take years in some cases for a team. I mean, imagine it must be the case a lot of the time in a game like WoW, with how big the teams are, to kind of figure out who fits, who do we keep moving forward, who do we need to maybe consider letting go of. It's a very difficult thing, because I mean, I see teams struggle with it in esports where you have 5 members on a team, let alone teams this big, up at 20.
Yep. Does this look good so far? Not the space in the boss room is already very limited.
This is painful though. Like, they've got it down to 3.56.
No, this is not painful. This is smolder on. Yeah.
And he's gonna. No, I'm not gonna say it. Okay. So, you know what? He's gonna smolder on their nuts. There we go. I said it. Thank you, Kex. He stuck that in. Like, I was talking to him, and he said, "Smolder on these nuts." And my brain, every time I hear it now, I just hear it. It's another reason I have to call him Molderon just to get away from it.
Oh, that's smart of you.
Do you know why they call him Smolderon? Because when you struggle like this, he makes you feel small.
Someone stop this, man. Please, I beg. I need help here. I really need help. And I think you also need help.
Joke's on you. If the NHS doesn't cover counselling, I'm not getting that help.
You're on fire with bad jokes today, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Hey, no matter how much I'm on fire, I can't beat as on fire as this boss right here. I mean,
It looks like we're wiping,
yep.
standing in the fire on purpose. Let's see if the other raid is more successful. We need to find. Maybe we have the speed POV. They're just about to pull.
Well, they're alive.
They're alive, but the boss is also alive. So, what is speed playing? What is it? Oh, Shaman.
Okay.
Right. It's an enhancement Shaman.
It's
Oh, already we just pulled the boss and it's already 2 people that are dead. 3, 4.
This is the problem. It's the explosions, right, with the ripple waves out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they have a fixed like direction they go in. So you have to remember, if I'm not mistaken, where you're facing, right, to make sure that you don't like screw other people over. But
Yeah.
you have to track so many other people in the midst of that.
Also, I think it's just no one has talked about strategies, and it's not like there's like instructions for helpers as well. Please always look into this. It's just FFA. Everyone just stands somewhere and you dodge on your own. So I definitely think it's gonna look a lot different on Mythic, because teams have actually spent hours and hours thinking about how can we position in the best possible way, and how can we aim our characters to not make it harder for others, especially harder for people that have to soak the tank frontal.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look a lot different. This is just like everyone does what they want and what they need.
Yeah. It's also just awkward because obviously you have to get back across to do the half raid soak, right? You can't just leave the tank on his own. So there is some very tight timings here that is becoming apparent very fast. That this could just be kind of a sticking point, and as someone we highlight, like, you know, even beyond this stage, even when we get all of the raiders into one group when we're in Mythic, this seems like I think the big sticking point in everyone's mind right now is Smolderon might be the toughest.
Yeah. Have you heard of Fragnant's nerd scream yesterday when they killed Smolderon?
What happened?
Okay, so they were like today so far as well. They were wiping on Smolderon for a long time. Fragrance was in the second split that managed to kill the boss, but they killed it so late that they didn't even try T Swifty. The first raid did kill T Swifty, so Fragrance in the raid that took a little longer on Smolderon, and then they killed the boss. And I was wondering if they kill the boss, are they actually going to be like, yo, let's go, we killed the boss, because it's only a heroic boss. And then it happened, they killed the boss, and we actually heard Fragrance nerd scream, yeah, let's go. And I was convinced that he was nerd screaming because there was something that dropped that he knew he's gonna get it. He came to us here after, and Gromnek and Shaken were asking him, yo, we heard you nerd scream. We were actually just so hyped to kill this boss, like a heroic boss that made you feel like you just killed the hardest mythic boss ever. He said, nah, I just saw a trinket drop and I knew I'm gonna get this trinket. So I was like, yeah, my trinket. It's like, he doesn't care. It's like, yeah, my trinket, my loot.
So he wasn't hyping the moment, he was just smeagling.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's like a loot goblin. It happened last year as well. It was on a mythic boss, I think. Or was it? I don't remember. But it was another one where he just started completely freaking out after they killed the boss. And I was like, why? And he's like, my loot. I know that I'm going to get this item. He's like,
ooh, shiny.
Only thing that counts for him, loot.
Just rename him Crow.
True.
Shiny things drop, he needs them.
So, this is a thing you don't like to see again. We're in the first intermission now. 4 people already dead, and I think 1 person just died in this intermission. We can now only hope that they soak their 5 balls before they died, because if they die and the balls are still there, you can't do anything else than look at these balls, run into the boss and buff the boss 5% each, and we're wiping again. That's I think that's experience that kicks in here, knowing that if there's 4 people dead this early, we don't even have to try. And let's not waste time, just go again.
Too many calories.
I wish I had more. I'm really hungry. I actually, my
really?
plan.
I thought you were Germany.
My plan was to get some breakfast in our break, but then I ended up just talking to Darkmech and Perky that has arrived here, so I didn't get anything to eat. I also didn't get a coffee. I just.
So we covered for you, and you just like food is priority, but screw that.
I brought a muffin where I took like 2 bites or something, but then I remembered that Marius said we're not allowed to eat on the green screen, so I'm afraid
but Marius
I
is
don't
not
want
here.
to do it.
Do it.
No.
Eat that muffin.
You're gonna like snitch or something.
Muffin that muffin up. Look, I ain't gonna snitch. I ain't gonna say muffin.
This has to stop. This really has to stop. Holy.
There is no stop.
This one took me a second. Yeah, it's a good one, yeah.
Go on, that's fine. You know, alternatively, you could just like, I don't know, just chug loads. Like, I guess these.
This caster needs to get out right now.
Is it the end of you and me?
Yes, it's
is
definitely
it too late?
The end of you.
and you can't wait for me to be gone? She's not picking up on this.
Are you building up on another
I literally
bad
just sung a song at you.
Oh.
It's like the get out, please, right now. It's end of you and me. Know that one? I can't remember what it's called. Does anyone in chat know it? This is the way my brain works, by the way. I hear things and it's just like, dink over there, dink over there, dink over there. I'd be terrible in these raids. I'd be so bad, I'd have to rename my character Carpet because I'd spend so much time on the floor.
I need my food but viral, that is true. That is very true.
What are you going to eat other than a muffin?
A muffin.
And another muffin.
I think I'm not going to eat more. I think we're on a quick break here, it looks like. Right?
Nope. You're dreaming. You've still got half an hour of me.
No, I mean...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it. So they've stopped suffering, but you get to continue.
That is true. We're going to check out...
This song was Jojo Leave. Have you heard of Jojo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, finally a thing that you ask me if I know it, and I know it.
I know. Like, see, this is the thing. You're like, you should just stop asking me if I know things. And like, look, we got there. Yeah. Bonding.
Oh, there we go. The Wily PUB. What is he playing? He's playing Evoker. Is he healing? No, he's not. He's playing Devastation, I think.
Okay.
All right.
Because what are like the top healing classes right now?
The top output classes are Mistweaver and Preservation Evoker.
Okay.
So Monks and Evokers are the top output healer. Disc Priest is not far behind, and Disc Priest is dealing massive amounts of damage.
Is that why I always hear that as a priority? Is like they're barely behind the healing, but probably the highest DPS healer? Yeah.
And they bring a power infusion, which makes other people deal more damage as well.
Okay.
So Priest is in a really, really good spot now, and I said it yesterday. We talked about healing comps a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if in the race, when we go into Mythic, we would see double disc Priest, Monk, and Paladin. Just because the damage output. And then if needed, you can also swap one of the priests to Holy. You're just very flexible with that comp. You would leave out the Evoker healer there, which is a lot of HPS you lose, but we're on a level if something is needed. If you need to have a different spec or class in, then there's gonna be a player that is equipped and waiting for getting in and proving why he is there. So I can imagine that we would swap out the comp a little depending on the boss as well. Ooh.
Yeah, I think the main bosses that came to mind is that there was a lot of talk about this one potentially maybe being a bit more desirable for healers. I think one of the ones you highlighted was Laradar, Super Mario Sunshine, is that you might want additional healers because of all the treants and the routes that you have to heal as well.
Yeah. That's what I could imagine. Yeah, it's looking good so far. We're in the first intermission now. All the party frames still have color, which means no one has died so far. Do you see the stacks of the boss? I think it's top left-ish, one of the icons.
The one with the 6 right now, the green thing, is that what you're thinking?
No. It's like two red yellowish icons. Like above the party frames, above the raid frames. Is one of them the boss stacks?
I'm not sure. It feels too far away from me.
I mean, anyways, you can probably kill the boss with a few stacks. If it gets too much, then it's problematic. But if it has 4, 5, 6 stacks, it's fine. And I still believe, as long as everyone is alive, this boss is gonna go down. So looking good so far. So
actually, on the heroic progress bar, we have that icon with the 1, is that maybe the stacks you were thinking of?
You mean the orange one? That's a combat dress.
Oh, okay, got you. Interesting.
Has someone started Mythic Raid yet? On the right side of the screen, you can see the Mythic leaderboard. We actually have instant dollars with 4 Mythic bosses down already, and a couple of pulls on... I don't know what boss it is, but the 5th boss?
Laradar.
I think we said Laradar, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a handful of guilds with 1 Mythic boss killed already. So the big guilds that we are all waiting for, like Echo, Liquid, Method, are not in Mythic yet. We're still in Heroic Splits, and we're gonna stay here for at least the rest of today.
Yeah, we're gonna be parked here for a while, considering that this is maybe like their 2nd or 3rd character, and we haven't seen them get past Smolder Run yet. This is gonna be quite the slog, but you talked about the idea being that if you spend all your time burning through the normals and the heroics, you'll be prepped better for the mythics later, while instant dollars, for example, probably have barely touched normal or heroic. They've just blitzed through into mythic.
Yeah. Isn't it quite unusual to not have more guilds killed a few mythic bosses yet? Honestly, I don't think so. If we just look at the leaderboard that we see on the side, we have talked about it earlier, 9 out of these top 10s are US guilds because they had their reset earlier. They're just a little bit ahead of time. So just considering that it's only the second day and most of the guilds are doing splits, even if it's not the top 5 race to world first guilds, most people are doing splits, and only if you do 2 splits, that's taking away a whole day. And many guilds are just not day raiding, so I don't think it's unusual for the second day, and we're very early into the second day. It's not even 12 here, right? So I think not unusual, no.
No, it's something we talked about earlier, the idea that, you know, you could try to rush ahead and do the mythics now, but maybe that loot priority gets a bit warped later on when you find you have gaps, whereas if you do normal and you do heroics now, when it comes to that high value loot you're going to get out of mythics, you can kind of divvy that up in a more natural flow, going, now we clearly know this person can't get a bigger booster from a normal or a heroic because we've already done them, so they get the mythic priority.
What is going on in chat right now? What have I missed?
We got a raid from Windpress. Big shout out to them, bringing through the raid. I mean, it's important that you raid into the raiders.
Welcome to all the raiders. I was just... all of this. I love it when you're getting a raid and people start spamming emotes. That's amazing. Usually when I raid someone, I tell my chat, yo guys, let's be like, woo, let's spam emotes, and then there's like 2 people that do it.
Oh, hold on a second.
They just do me like this. What's happening?
You know, they now doing Smolderon like this, all right?
Ooh.
He's about to become Smooshderon when they crush his ass, down to 7.5%. And I think they've only got, is that like 1 person flopped?
I think it's more. I think
4.
2 or 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's red for a while, these nameplates.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like, I think we maybe have 5, a few more flopping dead, but they look like they're going to have enough of this. So they'll get down to the 3.69. Nice. Okay.
I think we're going into the intermission here, and as long as you survive this intermission, boss going to the middle
You're Gucci, yeah.
You're fine. The boss also takes more damage in this intermission, so just don't die early. Don't let your orbs go into the boss to buff him even more.
No, just kill him faster. Don't even focus on the orbs. Just slap him down. Yes! There we go. Whew, we were almost at double-digit pulls. That was getting worrying.
How many? 9 pulls.
Here we go. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? No, I'm not going to. Yeah, I like doing voices.
Going to T Swifty now. Wildy doesn't look too happy about the loot, but also Wildy's on his evoker. He's the main mage in the roster, so I don't think this character is gonna matter at all for him, or does not have any loot prio. So going to the next boss.
Now, apparently this was a comical moment when this first came up, because it's not uncommon for World of Warcraft raids to bug you out when you're trying to dragonfly to new areas.
How do you know?
I do. I listen. I learn.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I learn well, but I learn, if maybe poorly.
Alright, and we just go. Let's do that. Because we really like Smolderon. It's our best friend. But now we go to the second split. That's still busy with Smolderon.
You really want to watch more Smolderon? You really want to get more depressed?
Until the first.
Until the other guys are ready, then we're full T Swifty.
Full T Swifty. I think T Swifty is a little more exciting to watch because you swap platforms with different phases. Smolderon is just that one phase with kind of an intermission, but you stay on that boss room, nothing really changes.
Yeah.
It gets boring after a while.
Yeah, it gets boring watching everyone dead again. Again. God, I hate this boss. Yeah, the T-Swift, like I said, is a very fun one. I think you know, everyone's calling it T-Swift, but because it's Tindril, Sage Swift, I almost want to call it Tintin's Adventures. Because it's like...
That's a new one,
Because it's like you go on an adventure, right? Like you just go flying to the next area. It almost feels like you could sing a whole new world on the way over. It's great.
You're so weird.
Is that good?
Great.
Yeah.
T-Swift, baby. We go back. Let's see. Who else is in this raid? Was it Tragnans? Lorgok? We have a Lorgok. Look at him. Logan is almost just disappearing in his chair.
That's because
Humanscale freedom because it's so
Yes.
comfy. Just lean back.
his ass is just relaxing too much. That's what it's because it's heaven. It's like, you know, you just slide into heaven with those bad boys. Get yourself one if you haven't. Exclamation mark Humanscale.
We gonna get ourselves some.
Dude, we better. I'm gonna be outraged if we do not. Or I'm just gonna be thieving if we're not.
Alright, looks like there's some preparation going on before we pull the last boss. Maybe a little bit of explanation for the helpers in Discord. Helpers are definitely in Discord and are getting some calls from the raiders. I think in this raid that we don't see at the moment anymore, it's Shelle that's doing some calls. I don't even know who it is in Lorgok's raid. I assume it's Bangers.
We can check his perspective. He's talking a lot, we know.
Do we have...
We have Mr. Bangers, yes.
Oh, right here. Oh, Bangers is in this raid.
Oh. Well, I hope he's not giving advice. Not to the HWF
What do
group.
you mean with that?
And, well, I mean, you should probably focus on this one, considering how painful Smolderon's been so far. Wouldn't want to divide the lad's attention. And this is actually going fairly well so far, I'd say. Like, you know, I feel like usually we've seen a lot of situations where 4 or 5 people already dead by 50%.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there was any like tip that got passed over. Maybe there was some small thing they done differently so that they were able to clean the last one up, and now they're passed that over to the other split. It's like, hey, try this instead, sort of thing.
Maybe. Do you think they help each other? Maybe they have a raid.
You're talking about inter-guild
Yeah.
conflict here.
I mean, like a competition, you know?
Yeah.
Our split is gonna be faster.
And then you're like, Pride was like, yeah, we done it. However, now we have to wait for you to do it, so maybe we should have shared.
We're gonna look at this. I think we're about to pull.
Is it time?
It is time.
Can I get my tay-tay?
No.
No? You want to get your
Yes.
tay on? Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was there a question?
So... So yesterday we've seen that... Have you seen this boss on Heroic already? A few pulls? Because the pulls that we did was pretty late yesterday.
I didn't manage to catch the heroic. If
Yeah.
I recall correctly, one of the big significant changes is, if I'm not mistaken, when you get to the phase where you have to debuff the fire damage, the post-raid white damage, I believe the numbers that it bumps out is higher, right?
I honestly don't know what the difference is from normal and heroic.
More crap.
That's just always the thing, right? I can tell you everything that happens in the boss fight, but I don't know what the difference is. But what I wanted to go for is phase 1 and phase 2 seem fairly easy. It will take like 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 pulls to give especially the helpers a chance to see the boss fight. It's like very likely you see it once and it's like, oh, okay, it's meant like this and it looks like this, and then it goes smoothly. In the last phase though, there's like a very nasty overlap with having to soak the mushrooms on the floor that are dealing a lot of damage, and the sunfire coming out, which caused a lot of wipes yesterday. And the bad thing about that is it's in phase 3, right? So it takes a while to get there, and then you have the hardest part in the boss fight nearly so
Yes.
late. If you wipe there, it just costs a lot of time. So we might see a couple of pulls. Oh,
That's a lot of
did
dead.
I just see Kana died?
Yeah, Kana went down. I
Oh.
think Corella just hit the deck as well. So like half of them are just dead right now.
I think Kana is still not here, right?
Not here, no.
Yeah, but I.
He's got my
think he wa-
jersey.
Wait, did he steal it?
No, he's meant to be the savior, getting it for me in time.
Oh.
But then he's not here yet, right? Like he
Yeah.
had to stay back for a bit. So shout out to Kana playing from home. Hopefully we'll see him here as we get deeper into the raid. But this is really dicey. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just going to be a wipe, because they don't have the full party and you have to get through the shield before the channel completes, or it's just a raid wipe.
Oh, it's yeah. You can heal it for a while though.
I mean, the damage is adding up fast though.
Yeah.
Okay, so they
But
get through.
that's fine. Just to give everyone the chance to see this second phase as well.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to stay and not just like this. This is not gonna be the kill. We know that.
No.
But just give people a chance to see more of the boss fight.
I think this, by the way, is the easiest of the 3 phases. I feel like the tornadoes, especially as we scale up into heroic and mythic, like to your point of like having to go so deep, in some ways it's a bit more productive that maybe the more complicated of the first 2 phases is first.
Yeah.
So that people can adjust to that by doing a few more pulls instead of having to wait till phase 2 to see the more annoying mechanics.
Yeah.
And there's those pulls we talked about. So you get that cast on you, it will be cast on 3 players. You have to pull it away from the raid. You're going to take a lot of damage until it gets dispelled. And then it's going to apply this giant fire puddle. But the important thing is that when you dispel it, it's going to post a raid-wide dot for 3 seconds. So it's critical that the dispels are staggered every 3 seconds. Otherwise, I believe the damage scaled exponentially. It was like 2,000%